Uh, I just wish she's talking out of here. And I don't have anybody, trying to join. Sebsinia,
Step on. You allow him.
yes. Promote to panelist. That way he can talk anytime he wants to. I just hope he can hear us.
Sebi.
He declined to be promoted to panelist. We need him. iPhone raised his hand. Promote to panelist. Come on, Sebi. Do you hear me talking to you?
Oh, he's going to be rejoining as a panelist. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Good job. Thank you.
Sebi, can you hear us?
He's on
You?
mute and no video. If you
He's on his iPhone.
unmute yourself.
I did. I can hear you guys.
Okay, excellent.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yay. We need you because we need a quorum.
All right.
Okay, so you're all set. You can hear us then.
Yes, I can.
Okay,
Perfect.
thank you.
Citizens. Want the silence for Bruce. Spend 45 years.
I don't know if Seb even know. Does Seb know?
Sebi, I don't know. No, Bruce passed away yesterday.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we just found out today, actually.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
We're
And
going to have a moment of silence in his honor.
Okay.
A lot of experience there. See, we don't have any citizens, so include minutes.
we do have a good piece of news for Seb and others. Nick's wife had a baby. Did you see that picture?
Yes, I did.
So that's our good news.
Yeah, I have to hear it about Bruce.
Sorry. Yeah. Kind of takes your breath away. Okay.
Second discussion. Seeing none. Your vote. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? So, unanimous. Okay. Great for the business.
Okay, I'm going to try to move this along so we keep within an hour's scope to help you, Sebi.
Yeah, that it does.
Hour.
Yeah.
Okay. The AWWA, I wanted to give you a quick rundown on a couple of items. We are participants. I'm personally a member of AWWA and also actually the town at Berlin Water Control is a member of AWWA. A number of things that have occurred over the last month or so. The lead survey, interestingly enough, the lead survey that we were doing some degree gets suspended in terms of its time frame. Not sure what is going to happen at this point in time. And I have another item down here too. Have 350 unknowns. Lisa and I have worked with the state to get some decent information in, and right now, so that's going to be questionable how much pressure they'll put on us in the near future. That's 418 401B, infrastructure funding. Unfortunately, with the new administration, there's been a significant cut in financing to DWSRF funding and the clean water funding. Gentlemen know that those fundings are used for loans. We're looking at a loan when we do the Meriden project, so we're going forward with it, but I'm not sure exactly how it'll work. The states and a little bit of concern about how much money they would actually have to give out. So we're still moving forward, and I'll give you an update on the Meriden position a little further on. The other thing that has been a little bit interesting is the item 41C. Oddly enough, as you recall, PFAS, polyfluorinated carbons, these are the so-called forever cause fluorides, basically in the systems like, the fans in your, things that are basically used for, clothing and so forth, so there's no staining. Basically, those things exist. The regulations were proposed, now they're on hold, so we don't have any time frame when they're gonna be reevaluated apparently. So that's 41C. And 41D, Health and Human Services. Another issue nationally has become, through Health and Human Services and CDC, is the issue of fluoridation. Two states actually, right now, at this point in time, Utah and Florida have basically banned fluorides in the use of drinking water. And I have an item later on with our governor on the position of fluorides. They're looking at supposedly new science, whatever that is. It's not clear what that is, but I think at the moment that's only done by state for this time frame.
Quick question,
Yes,
41A, how many of those are we gonna eliminate when we?
we have to eliminate them all.
No, I'm saying.
Our
when we
obligation is
do East
to,
Berlin. Most of these are gonna be in East Berlin.
well, no, they're in the areas that are older home prior to 1967. So we've been able to chop down about 100. We have 350. We send out letters. We'll probably send up another batch of letters in September, probably at the end of the year. We're obligated to notify them of the unknowns and then notify the state that we've done that compliance with their requirement. Yeah, it's a reiteration process. We can't do them all at once.
Well, I'm just wondering when we do East Berlin, how many, does that seem to be the older part of town?
Well, it is the older part of town, and if we get replies back from those folks, then they send me pictures of their service line, I can tell whether that's possible. And actually, a good portion of them there are galvanized. It hasn't been technically lead itself, but galvanized pipes is also considered by contaminants in it. 4.2, town council action on July 8th, 2025, we awarded DPC LLC evaluation. They gave us a proposal roughly shy of $30,000. I threw it in as 31,000 to have a little bit of a buffer. It's for the evaluation of the Berlin Turnpike and the Middletown Road Pump Station. Berlin Turnpike is the oldest and also the biggest, obviously over there by the what do you call it? The Daddio project over the Berlin Turnpike. This particular station has a setup with cans. I don't know if you're familiar with it at all, Warren, but it went through the station. Yeah, they do. Oh, yeah, you've heard. But we're concerned about that operation there, and we've always had problems with our grinder pumps there too. Can't seem to operate well with the grinder pumps. The older one went in for 20 years, the newer one's the last one.
No, that's,
Yeah.
and I don't respect,
Yeah.
new rider functions, and
Yes, we did inspect them out and we bought a company out of Ontario, Canada. The
that's
original,
one that was on my list.
no, it wasn't, well, Art was here selected them and basically, little did we know, Russell Resources purchased them through GET Canada. And the original ones cost 35,000, the next set cost 37,000. Now tariffs cost 49,000. So we sent them out to see if we could rebuild them to a company REM here, and there's a place in New Haven. But, they've been kind of funny because I've sent them in, we dropped them off about 2 months ago. And I keep calling them up every week because they don't seem to have it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not sure they got the parts. I guess maybe that's part of the problem, you know.
Right, they're bringing up over on that line over by that pump station, they're doing a lot of relining that they've improved.
That's what.
Metabass. They're gonna be doing a lot of relining and I,
Oh, the 66 inch, right?
yeah, so I'm gonna try, they have it all blocked out. I saw the map that it had it all blocked out. I'm wondering which ones they're gonna start redoing, so it might be some that those people check with. Because if we do this pump station, obviously that's what we have.
Well, this is to give us options.
Yeah, well, I
But
mean,
it's not to design or come up with a formal proposal, because that would be the next step, to go out to bid for a proposal.
but in the design, did they doing the design or estimate?
They're just doing estimates as to what kind of options are available.
That would have to be one of.
The other issue here is Marion. Marion finally signed off, which was great. Their town council signed off on it, and we have a signature on there. Actually, he signed off for us. And we're submitting a diversion permit. We have to pay $1,200 that's coming up. And excess water permit from EPA, so both of those are being submitted to the agencies for approval. And then the next step after that would be to once we have their approval, go to bid for a contract. Still hopefully sometime in September, the possibility, or maybe in October. Formal,
You can bid before they're approved, or you can.
oh no, we have to wait for their approval, because if they don't give us the permits on those, there's some requirements. I don't think we'll have a problem, but then again, I don't know, if I don't know much about Merit. They've had problems over the years with service supplies. Lead and copper rule, but again, you know, we're initially using it for the emergency position to do the tank. The lead copper rule status, I mentioned that earlier, is that we have about 350 unknown at this point in time. So we kind of try to eliminate it and with each meeting. It's kind of a slow way to do it. I'm hoping that when we get down to a number low enough, and I'm not sure what that would be, maybe 100 or so, we might then be able to schedule our staff to go out there and physically schedule their appointments with these people and then take a quick look at it.
Do they understand what the risks are that?
A lot of people just don't get it. I mean, they send me pictures of their gas main, the RF device, one sent me a picture of, outside, I don't know what it was. And those people, and like one person I spoke to on the phone, he said, well, wait a minute while I run out and take a look at it. I said, well, you shouldn't be running out. You should be running downstairs.
They're exposed on the outside.
Yeah, so they're missing the boat, but you know, a lot of people just don't read. I guess that's part of the problem, or maybe don't understand how to boat, I don't know. It's a strange thing, so I'm collecting some of the pictures and it's a little odd.
You understand, but had training.
Yeah, well, you know, it's funny, I guess maybe sometimes people look at these things,
For the gas meter.
Yeah, I know.
Electric meter.
Yes, you know, everybody should know one of those.
you would think so, but I guess not.
You've got to collect.
Okay, so I got that, and 4.5, Madagascar invoice status. Okay, this is a little bit interesting. This is exactly what I thought was gonna happen. So anyway, if you recall, the Madagascar bill is about $3 million. So I took it and divided it up based on the usage of the Baxter Avenue meter for Kensington. So they got a bill just shy of almost $2 million. And then Worthington got a bill about 350,000, something in that range, and we got the balance from that. So, KFC responded back, literally within 2 weeks. Didn't send it to me, they sent it to the town manager. The town manager received it on envelope on his desk. Town manager brought it in the next day to me, and there were 3 checks. The 3 checks don't come up anywhere close to the amount pending. It's still a balance of almost $500,000 plus. So we sent out a letter asking to reply back within 7 days to let us know whether they pay it. Or if they don't pay it, then respond back in 7 days and tell us exactly why it's paying it. It may very well, this may be the stone that we build report, but because of the fact that they haven't. And we went out of our way, back in December of, 2024, sent a letter to them that this is the way we were going to do the billing. You had to offer the billing, tell us now, just had and go over it with you. We never got a reply back, so, well, more to come on this, and basically, got a time frame associated with it. Sure.
When is this fine print that we would have?
7 days from the date of receipt, we sent it out in certified mail, so I presume, 7 days would probably be sometime next, early next week.
That's all the. That's the bill. Oh, that's the bill?
Yeah, that's how but I have to include a lot of stuff that go up with it. Status of the townwide water study,
Oh, wait a minute.
I'm
Go
sorry,
back,
oh, go right ahead, I'm sorry,
the money that's owed. Yeah, $500,000.
yeah,
More. And it's like, can't down the road again, that thing, you know, I mean, the thing that I'm wondering is, I know I've answered the question, I know you've answered it, I don't think I like the answer. And that was that we know when we get a total bill, what our portion is. Why don't we just pay our portion, send it in to Mattabassett, say Mattabassett, these other owe this, you go get it.
because here's the problem, because there isn't, and I did calculation for, I don't know how the people did it each one, but I looked at it and said, if we were to isolate each entity, where they can, water control, I could probably put in another 19 meter sites. 19, so that means you'd have to meter every site, our site, their site, and separate it. This is part of the problem. What you got is this. You can't, it's basically a spaghetti mixture. You can't very isolate it. Baxter Avenue was one element of the isolation. We found out Skinner Road, that goes into our system, and we've been paying for it for years, that we reimbursed years. So we believe that there's other areas where that's happening as well. And yet, it's not an even trade-off. Just because they consume this amount of water, doesn't mean that's went into the waste water. Because they just proved it. Their, let's say, for instance, Kensington showed that they sold 196 million gallons last year. But the Baxter Avenue meter showed that there was 415 million gallons that flowed through that.
Well, where's the extra water coming?
Groundwater.
It's 300 something that was bought from New Britain.
No, that has nothing to do with it.
No,
That's a
that-
separate issue. You're getting.
that's no, I understand, but I'm just the awkward, it's 100,000 more than even they purchased. Right.
Okay.
So that's the answer to your question.
Let's just say I am the judge,
Okay,
and we're both sitting before the judge. I'm Kensington, and I say, we end up selling $1 million worth of, water, so we shouldn't have to pay for more than $1 million worth of sewage. Now, you end up saying this, how is the judge going to rule?
well, it's gonna rule, in my case, it's gonna say, okay, what have we done? We spent $80,000, we spent $80,000 to show a meter that's metering most of their supply is accurate. I've had by 2 companies, 2 calibrations in the year, and both of them.
We lost 300 grand because we wanted to make sure.
Sure, I'm answering his question. Basically, to answer that question, so the reality is the meter is pretty accurate. So 114 or 115 million gallons went through that. You can't say it didn't happen. That's what they're telling us. When they turn around and say, I only bought 196 million gallons, I only sold 196 million gallons. So you shouldn't bill me for more than 196, but yet the meter says that 415 million went through that meter. Where did it come from?
Is it seeping into the sewer pipe?
Yes.
On their end.
Yeah.
On their end, so they have a situation where is like the pipes are in the ground, see no evil, speak no evil, and so forth. Type of
And
thing.
so now you're looking at it as a judge, and so what do you think?
Okay, I'll find you your favor. But even what they're doing is you go send them the bill and they're just going, who to you?
They're doing worse, because what they're doing is, they sent me the bill, they sent me my bill marked up. And the numbers were correct, based on the 196. But they're ignoring the fact that 114 million was approved yet. I didn't make that up. That's what is measured. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a measurement. It's not something I just sat down and said, oh, I think this. No, it's a factual measurement that went through there. How do you explain it? They don't even address it. That's my argument is too. We should be at least addressing it and saying, okay, well, we know it's I. Actually, in 2020 and 2021, we had measurements done and we know we have an I problem. Well, it's gotta be I. So you're saying, just forget about it?
No, what I'm saying is,
Well, that's what they're saying. Forget about it.
when are we gonna look into getting a lawyer? And if we're gonna take a report over this, let's backdate it and get as much information on what they owe us for other stuff too.
That's
We have to
that's a
understand
little bit
it.
more tricky. I did that about 2 years ago, and we had $1 million each for them. But the problem was is that the metering wasn't done properly, because it wasn't measured at the right place.
Deb raised his hand.
Betty, go ahead, Betty.
Yeah, but getting to Dave's point, what would happen if you only paid your portion of Mattabassett? What would Mattabassett do on their end? Would they come to would they come to the town and say, you know, you owe us that?
Guys,
Yes,
look, Ed Lynch is the attorney for the Mattabassett. We have been paying, the way it's been done, and this is a precedent, that the bill comes to Ray pays it, and then it's divvied up between the three districts. That's the way it's been done, and that's the precedent. And
Well,
if
what
you-
happens if we just pay our portion and say, you got, you know, that's it, we paid our portion?
Portion is, how do you figure out our portion? That's the other thing. That's the whole.
We haven't.
Well, isn't it based on what you
Well,
bill the other two guys?
Well, again, here's the point. Our portion going into this, and I'll explain it to you quickly, is when I use the calculation, if I had used it just on consumption, our portion would have been 206 million gallons going in for the thing. Their portion would have been 196 million gallons. So we would have actually paid a little bit more. However, the Baxter Avenue meter shows that their portion isn't reality. They're coming in higher, and there's more I somewhere in the distribution system also. That's not being accounted for, which has to be separated and identified. That's part of the problem. Like, we don't have it, so I can say, this is your portion, this is my portion, this is their portion. Doesn't exist. That's why it's so complicated with the three systems. It doesn't make sense to operate three individual systems in town that way, because the towns made a big mistake and we're living it. Back in the 50s, when they should have consolidated and made one entity, they fostered up the other two entities to survive. For what reason? I have no idea.
Have they ever done any I work?
Well, interesting point you raised. So I found a map. Here's the point. Probably the same time frame you were working. Here's the, because, the consultant asked me for some information. So I went back and looked at some, whatever I had. And I happened to have a map from Worthington Fire District dated 2011 with their GIS. It was mixed in with all our stuff when they were doing the relining, right? And little did I know, when I printed it out, it had all red marks showing severe I in their distribution system. They must have known about it, but the data didn't show up anywhere, so I don't know how they related it to. And they have been arguing that they didn't have anything for the longest time. And now all of a sudden they're looking at it and saying, oh yeah, we do have it, we're gonna be doing some relining. And God knows how that'll go, but anyway.
About 70%.
But anyway, to answer your question, Dave, one of the provisions that the attorney wanted us to put in is this particular item. Berlin Water Control further reserves the right, town's rights and remedies by at law in equity in the event maintains that it is not liable for the remaining balance. That means if Kensington says that they're not gonna pay for the balance, we're gonna be looking for it in some legal action. That's the way I interpret that.
We're having a meeting, August 6th.
Well, that's a
That
separate
Bass-
meeting. I don't want you bringing that up. but that-
Well,
that's
it has to deal with this problem. So they're addressing, the Mattabassett's gonna start addressing.
Now,
I
is the Kensington district the only district, or does Worthington Ridge?
Worthington also, but Worthington has that Middletown road pump station that they use for us and never paid us for. And then the remaining 90% of their flow goes through the Berlin Turnpike, which they don't wanna pay for either. They have, I've sent them a bill and they crossed out the thing and said, I'm not paying for the fence, I'm not paying for this, I'm not, because I don't think it's working. And what do I do? We can unfortunately, $1,000 back.
So then,
Sure.
So-
That's so simple.
This is a public meeting that's recorded and put out on the town's website shortly after this meeting, and the minutes are put out. And we've found that some people go out and listen to the meetings after the fact, and they may be learning and listening and learning facts and things too, since it's public. And maybe they're slowly absorbing facts and things that we are giving.
No, I end up being in this district, it's bad enough. I mean, so, well, boy, if I lived in the Berlin district and I ended up knowing that over a period of years, that my money in that paying for water and sewer is supplementing the other two districts, which are already charging taxes, you know?
Well,
And
that
if
was
you ask
only-
them what they do with the money, they. go,
that was only supposed to be for capital improvements only.
And what capital improvements have you seen lately?
I haven't seen it. But just a minute, they did pull a permit to reline, which they're obligated under the EPA.
not realize.
They're gonna replace a 12-inch line. And that's gonna be tearing up where Dairy Queen is on Harding Street there. That's all gonna be replaced. But that was,
That was due 7 years ago.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've got a few more things to say in our executive session.
All right.
That anyway, I'll add to you. The other, not to cut you off, but you see the dilemma, I think you've kind of seen the dilemma, and I agree with you. I think the town has been overpaying. Not only has it been paying, but if you're familiar with the term impact service. Impact service is where we, particularly being the town, and I've done this at the state too, is that we don't necessarily spend dollars, but we spend time and effort into something. If you go back into the town file here, where it says the townwide projects, there are several files full of edits, of selections of contractors, filling out the bids, purchase items, paying the contractors, the invoices, all that, the notice, the hearings, the meeting, all that's in there. Town did that. The other two districts may have contributed financially, or may not have. You know what I'm saying is, so we're sitting here, and whether we actually spent a dollar amount, spent a lot of effort with all these projects. We probably didn't spend any ever done. Okay, that was, item, 4.5. 4.6, simple one. Unfortunately, I talked to the consultants yesterday. Basically told me, and made one more payment, and we've got about $30,000 left. By August, the end of August, we're gonna have a draft, so we'll have a draft. And you should know, I have no control over these, studies. 4.7, status of sewer infrastructure evaluation. This again, is interesting because DPC, they did last year, they did the water analysis, so that was about $8 million. I'm still waiting for the sewer infrastructure evaluation. They think it's gonna be a little higher because of the lining that was done in parts of the 2012 and 2016. So that's still pending. We are looking at purchasing we purchased a real good truck with the lift and everything. So that we spent about 130 or 40,000 on that truck. We're looking at purchasing another truck and actually maybe two. I'm gonna splitting the two trucks out of this because one of them has almost close to 200,000 miles, the other one has over 100,000 miles, so it makes sense to try to eliminate those. So I'll keep you apprised of that. I don't know if that's in the budget yet, but the 88,000 is for sure right now. So it's enough to purchase at least one truck. Now, fluoridation, as I mentioned, the Fluoridation Act, our state did something a little bit different. But that's actually kind of an interesting situation because we had a fluoridation law in place many, many years ago, back in the sixties, which required that all entities, all public utilities over, or public water supplies actually, over 20,000 have been fluoridated. That was a requirement by the state law at that time in statute. This particular statute, new statute, Public Act 25-168, basically mimics the regulations in a sense, because it says that the established standard for fluoride is 0.7, which is exactly what the federal government likes, and it only varies by 0.15 milligrams per liter up and down. So that's the new range. Years ago, it used to be 1, but it's been lowered since then. Over the years, they found out that the dose is lower. It still helps out. The important part about this is that an average of $1 invested gives us $38 in dental treatment that's being saved. So this is, and then they figuring on a national scale that we could save $20 billion by being fluoridated. And Connecticut's been doing fluoridation since 1965. Well, since the law was 65, but actually I believe New Britain's been doing it since the 50s. And Connecticut is one of the rarer states only because it has the tumor registry. It has the oldest tumor registry in the entire country. So it does have the capability to analyze the fluoridation issue with the tumor registry. And so far, so good. We haven't been able to see any kind of impact as a result of that. I'd like to add another item on the agenda, 4.10. Connecticut professional leak detection.
Yeah, motion to add 4.10 to the agenda.
Second.
Maybe second. Second. Okay, it's been moved. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed?
We hired Connecticut professionals out of Seymour, Connecticut, a pretty good firm. Leak detection survey, which is kind of great. We actually didn't have any major leaks. We had some service line leaks and some hydrant problems. Where a couple places we had some leakage, we were able to take care of it. In retrospect, all of it was finished just recently. And one of the biggest issues we had a concern with is that the over here at Westview Highlands, which is over by the Berlin Turnpike, we were afraid that there was a leak going up to that mountain area there, and it turns out that it was their booster pumps that were creating the audio interference with the readings that they were getting. So when they shut, and we kind of they came back and tried to coordinate the shut off of those pumps with our leak detection, and when they did, they found out that there was no noise, and they were pretty thrilled that there was no leakage there, because that would have been a nightmare to repair, because it's like about 100-foot cliff to build up there. And they have to boost up the pressure, so they have to add the pumps. That's 4.10. So we have the leak program was actually very good, and I eliminated only a small number of small leaks that we have, and so I feel pretty good about it. And one other thing I'd like to add, 411 lamentation tank.
11 on the agenda.
Unanimous? I hope.
Any,
Lamentation Tank is in the southern section of our town, and basically has a corrosion problem, going back 10 years, so when we first did it internally. We've had externally, it's been painted since 2016, and the guys this year did the outside. Did the pressure wash for the outside, and I think it's beautiful, it's perfect, looks really great. However, I had two firms come in, Cortec and USG. USG is part of a larger group that does a lot of paint work. And individually, they both went in there with the robots and basically consistently pointed out that we do have a great deal of corrosion, circulation on the base of the tank, which needs to be applied and cleaned up. So and they both suggested that the tank be drained, cleaned, and then repaired for the corrosion problem. So I feel pretty good about that, because that's the whole purpose of initially anyway, through get Meridian connection so that we can take that tank out of service and repair it internally. And otherwise, structurally, they're saying it's pretty good. So this is a good opportunity to make sure it's good for another 25 years after that. So we have to be clear that. Okay, so one other item is going into executive session. I guess we could. That'd be the only one, but we can stop the,
get a motion to go into executive session.
Motion to go into executive session.
I have a second. First and second, do we have any discussion? Hearing none, we will vote. Can we get a motion to get us out of executive session?
Make a motion to, use executive session.
I'll do that right here. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
8:05.
adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
How much interest do we charge?
Motion to adjourn.
1.5%.
Motion to adjourn?
Yeah, we only need one.
Sure.
Okay.
Hey, I'd be happy if I had that money, let alone, so.
Well- Thank you for joining.
See you guys later.
Yeah, take care, thank you.
Get them straight, Sebby.
I'm